everyone. It is a beautiful Monday morning here in Bryan, Texas, Houston, Michigan, wherever you guys are from. But you guys know me, Amy, here with Fern, Russell, and our lovely guest today is Craig. So, hey, you guys, how is everybody doing? We have started live streaming. Russell, you're going to love this, on multiple platforms. So you can find us on Sandy's Facebook page, Author Talk group page, but go on over to our YouTube page and subscribe and hit the little bell button so you get notified whenever we go live. But Russell, why do they want to do that? You're the one that knows YouTube way better than I do.
Okay, this is very important. The algorithm that YouTube uses to promote or to pick videos that other people, if they like these videos, you might like this one too. For them to suggest Author Talk, we need people to affect the algorithm by subscribing, belling, chatting. We need that. And what are the other channels we're on?
So we bounce between Facebook and our Facebook group, Author Talk. So if you haven't gone over and asked to be a member of our group, go on over there and do it. We'll accept you, no big deal. We're getting into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of being picky about who gets to go live, but I will be posting the replays over there. So you guys, we're just going to be all over the place. Eventually, we're just going to take over the world, Russell. We're going to be world dominating with Author Talk.
You know, I was having a good day till Craig showed up in that stupid shirt of his.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's an awful shirt.
He's so proud of it. I love it. I love it. Fern, didn't you do something exciting this past weekend then?
I did. So I played in a table shuffleboard tournament. And so for those of you who are not familiar with the tools of this game, so these are the weights that you use, see? And this is the pink side with my beautiful dragons, and then the purple ones.
Okay, where's the other tool?
What other tool? There is
the beer can.
There is
no.
No.
Shuffleboard.
No, you do
the
not.
The beer can is like an illegal tool.
No, you drink afterwards when you've won, but not before or during, because that affects how well you play. I'm just saying.
You probably lose.
Yes, and I don't really like to lose, so yeah.
So that brings up another point, because here in Bryan, we have those like axe throwing places, right? So there's two across the street from each other. One has a bar and the other one doesn't, right? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go drinking and throwing an axe. Has anyone gone to throw axes? Like, is it fun? It seems like a lot of work, and I don't want to.
I would love to do that. I used to be a member of a gun club that had a bar.
That's deadly weapon.
I don't know. Like, I don't have words for that. That's kind of concerning. I mean, it's like, I don't want to drink and be able to shoot guns, but I don't want to throw an axe either, because you guys know me. I'm clumsy, and it would hit somebody. I would go to jail.
Yeah, but what would Josh want to do?
He would want to do that. I know he would. He'd be like, Amy, we need to go to this one. We can drink and throw. It'd be so much fun. No, okay. I need to be sober and concentrate on where
I don't want to bleed on my date.
I don't want to go to the ER, okay? I don't want to do that.
You don't want to accidentally axe murder your okay?
I'd like to keep my husband, okay? I worry enough with his motorcycle, okay? I'd like to keep him and not be the cause of him dying due to a drunken axe incident. So I just was driving by them this weekend. I was like, wow, I wonder, how many people really do that and, drink. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I have nothing against drinking or throwing an axe. I just don't know if I'd mix them together. I don't know.
I would personally keep them separate. It's just like a better thing to do. But
I could see it. But we are
Craig, you're trying to hide back there.
Oh yeah. No, I just think you wouldn't want to bleed in your beer. That'd be the.
Hey, that's a true point. Yes, that's true. That is true.
I was at the Rose Bowl between the University of Texas and Michigan. I actually partied all day one day with Michigan alumni. So I really like you guys. That's why I'm badmouth.
You must be okay then.
I'm a great guy. I don't ever say anything mean.
Don't tell anyone.
He is an okay guy. I don't know. I feel like we lost Fern. Fern is frozen. Is she frozen on anybody else's end, or is it just mine?
No, that's the way she always looks.
Seriously? over here. Y'all were frozen on mine.
I'm glad it ain't me this time. You remember last Monday. I'm glad it ain't me. Okay. I will
take turns, Amy. Just take
Well, if you start using too many words in too blurry a fashion,
Russell, I got 2 kids under 2. I gotta talk quick to get my point before they screaming. You know how
Don't blame me for your poor decision making.
I blame you. Yes, I do. I definitely blame you. But no, we are talking with Craig today about his book. So I'm going to kick it on over to Fern and she's going to talk to Craig. So take it away, Fern.
All right. Well, Craig, welcome to Author Talk. Whoa. And so we're very excited that you have a new book.
I do.
So tell us about it. What is it about? And, what made you decide to write it?
Sure. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was probably about 1.5 years ago, I decided that my grandparents' story was really important and I needed to tell my grandkids about what they did in their world, back 100 years ago or so. And so it was motivated from that, and then started interviews with my mom and my 96-year-old aunt, and went to the World War I museum out in Kansas City to do a bunch of research with my 2 brothers. And so it just kind of grew from there, and it just, it became, I thought that I knew their story, but in actuality, I only knew about 10% of their story. And it seems like they kept secrets quite well from us. We didn't know my grandmother had a first husband until after she died in 1981. So it was like, hey, by the way, guess what? Yeah, she married somebody else before. Which threw my aunts into a tizzy, but
so that was a real Thanksgiving conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's too. Yeah, that went on for a while.
Were your aunts mad at you for finding that out?
Well, I didn't find it out. It was a cousin from Utah that sent them the information. Oh, by the way, your mom, she was married before. So with that, everybody got a little ticked off. My mom was pretty level-headed about it, but yeah, there was a lots of discoveries that we found out about their story. My grandfather crossed the Atlantic Ocean 7 times just to be in this country from Italy. Came over as a child.
What, did he get lost? What was going on with that?
He took the long way because he couldn't figure out how to stay. No, there was a huge economic downturn out in Utah, and they all went back home, and then came back to work more, and then his father got ill and had to take him back home to die, and then came back over and enlisted in World War I, went over to France to fight, got wounded, came back, and then his mom died, so he had to go back and then come back again. So it was crazy. And this isn't like, getting on the Concorde and hopping across the country. This is like 3 months to get across the ocean and to get back. So it was a big deal.
We're having all sorts of trouble with Fern right now. I don't know what is her problem. So this is kind of a document generations for the next generations of your family, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said it was this book, the project was documenting the generations of your family for the future generations of your family.
Right, yeah. I kind of submit to the idea that we really only know 3 generations, your parents,
maybe 3.
Maybe 3, right? Parents, kids, and yourself. And yeah, that's it right there. Mm-hmm. Parents, kids, and yourself, and that's about it. So if you go any deeper than that, you kind of lose the story of who are my grandparents' parents and all that stuff. So it really spurred me to start, looking into their story and asking the tough questions about who were they, what kind of decisions they make. And then not only that, I made a timeline in my office, and it wrapped like all around my office 3 times because I wanted to put into perspective of when they were doing things and what was going on in the world. And it was just crazy to contextualize all that stuff together and see, oh my goodness, well, okay, this makes sense with their, why they're making some of these decisions that they made. So
let me ask you another question then, since our questioner Fern seems to be having trouble.
Technical difficulties.
How would you recommend, how would if you were telling other people about this project and how you do it, what would you advise?
Yeah, there's I think there's quite a few things you can do. One is obviously you want to interview anybody who's alive still and knows stories of your past. It's a great place to start. So, actually start talking to your grandparents, at the Christmas party rather than texting your friends about nothing in particular, kind of a thing. Aunts, uncles, obviously are good sources and all that. But then the thing that really made it possible, I think, for me is the internet, because it just opened up the whole wide world. I didn't have to travel to Italy to communicate with some people about, where my family was. And so one of my cousins, Joe, who's 20 years older than I am, he actually went to Italy and got to go into the house that my grandfather was born in 1894. The house is still there, still using it, still part of everyday life for them. So, as much as you can do those things, the internet's a great source. But then there was, a lot of dead ends that we had to run after. So I started making, I made that timeline. From that, made lists about all these people I wanted to interview and questions I wanted to ask. And obviously not everybody's as crazy as I am and want to go into this much detail, but there's tons of records out there available that you can get, and a lot of them are even free. So I encourage people that. Ellis Island, it took me like 2 months to figure out when they actually came over and the boat that they came on, and that. So when I finally figured it out, they traveled under my grandfather's mother's maiden name. Then it all opened up for me, because they were pretty protective. Traveling 8,000 miles when you're are 3, 4, 5 weeks on a boat, and then 2-3 weeks on a railroad, going across the whole country, to a whole nother country, immigrating. It's a scary endeavor. So there is lots of information available today, and I think it's probably a better time than any other time in history to get that information for yourself and your family.
Wow. So what part of Italy is your family from? Because my grandmother is Italian, and her mom and her dad came over from Sicily, and they lived in, the Bronx, and my grandmother grew up there. Because I had to interview my grandmother for one of the classes I was taking in college, so many years ago. And so I heard some really neat and interesting stories. So, what part of Italy is your family from?
Yeah, it's the actual village is called Spinate. It's near Campobasso, which is about 90 miles from Naples.
Wow.
So Napoli. So south central Italy. Great place where pizza started. That's
so then here's the magic question, the most important question to me, because food is the most important thing in my life.
Yeah.
So did you get your grandmother's gravy recipe from Italy?
I got my great grandmother's,
and we're talking about a ragu, of course.
Yeah, it's her spaghetti sauce recipe.
Yeah,
is from my great grandmother Del Busso. So yeah, right from Italy.
It's the
Have
best
you made it?
too.
Yeah,
we make it all the time. Yep.
Yeah, it's the
Amy,
best.
do you have your family recipe for gravy?
I do, but it does not taste as good as my grandmother's. So when I go home to see her in Shreveport and she makes it, there's just something about it. You just can't beat it. I mean, I could eat like plates and plates of her spaghetti or chicken and cutlets or her lasagna. I mean, it's just like, or meatball subs.
You people are making me hungry.
She makes the best. I'm telling you, Italians know how to eat. We know food. Man, so that's awesome. So what kind of was the inspiration behind writing your book? I know it was to kind of tell your family's story and to, hear everything kind of coming out, but what was the inspiration to kind of keep going and to, publish your book?
Right. Yeah. So when I first started the research, it was really about me just writing a story for my grandkids. And, maybe doing it at Kinko's or something like that, and just passing along to them that way. But as I saw the things that they had to endure and consistently overcome, it just inspired me. I thought, man, not only my family needs to hear this story, but I think it would inspire other people that are going through difficult situations, just to say, wow, there is strength available out there. We can overcome even though life gets hard. And, you know, my grandmother, she came from Scotland. Bye, Fern. And she was tired of hearing me. But she came from Scotland.
I like Michigan boy a little bit better now.
You are winning points with Russell. That's a compliment.
If he's gonna bad talk poor Fern.
I love it. I love it.
Keep talking, Craig.
Yeah, no, that's fine. She came over from Scotland when she was 9 in the Mormon migration. So her family brought her over, and within 3 weeks, her dad dropped dead from arriving in Utah from an ear infection. They called it a mastoid, and they used to do surgeries on it. They tried to do a surgery, and it killed him. So within 3 weeks, you know, here he is, the breadwinner. He's gone, and the church is now forcing her mom to start thinking about remarriage almost right away. Wow. And so within 9 months, mom gets remarried to somebody up in Idaho, drags him up to Idaho, and wants to start a ranch in the middle of the wilderness in Idaho. And they live in a mud hut for 3 years trying to build this ranch. And the guy has problems with drinking, and you know, there's some abuse going on there. And so it was just, you know, one thing after another. They had a sister who died.
How'd you get these stories?
Yeah.
Actually, one of the great parts about the Mormon migration is Mormons keep really good records.
So they have records on the drinking and stuff?
They do. They called my great-grandmother's new husband a man of low esteem. So, and it was also referred to in another book written by my cousin, probably in the 1950s, that he had a very poor reputation and was known to be a drunkard. So, so lots of.
So this is a generational thing. This is the second generation of a family book.
Yeah, kind of, because I got some cues from my grandmother's side, but I didn't have any cues from my grandfather's side. So I had to do all the digging for that. But, and even my grandmother's side, it was really incomplete. And it actually only showed one particular side of the story. Like, you know, for years and years, she claimed that she was married in 1919. Well, in Davis County, Utah, we found the actual the marriage certificate that said, no, they were actually married in 1920 and they had a baby 3 months later. So
I don't think you're supposed to find that stuff out.
Yeah, I know. Supposed to keep that hidden.
There's like a regulation against that.
Those are secrets you take to your grave. You know, you take to your grave, you don't share them.
I'm certainly taking a lot of secrets to my grave.
Man, for sure. But Craig, that's just awesome. I wish, you know, more people would do that and kind of dive into their family history and stuff, because I feel like our ancestors and stuff were not stronger than we are, but they could tolerate a lot more than we could. And they, you know, we all come from strong backgrounds and perseverance and overcoming and stuff like that. So I think it's great that you wrote this book. I'm super excited about it. I'll be posting the link down below. But Russell, we don't have Fern. So do you have any closing comments or anything before I talk about tonight on Through the Eyes of Authors?
The only thing that I want to say is he still hadn't talked about going to Italy and staying at that house.
True.
Yeah, that was my cousin. I haven't done it yet, but my cousin did. So
well, you need to get it done.
Yeah, I know. He's actually been twice.
Wow.
But he's now 80, so I don't think he's going back.
What's happening tonight, Amy?
Tonight on Through the Eyes of Authors, we're going to have Fern, hopefully, if she can stay in our room. Fern, we'll be talking all about contracts. So if you are a publisher or you're thinking of opening a publishing company, or you just want to know if you decide to sign with one, what kind of things you should be looking for in a contract, you definitely want to join Through the Eyes of Authors tonight to get all the information. Fern loves contracts, loves going over them. So it could be a lengthy conversation tonight and turn into 2 nights, but who knows? But the lovely Fern Braden will be on tonight. Craig, Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure. I am super excited about your book and I will be posting it. So, just thank you. And you guys have a fantastic Monday and a great rest of your week.
Thanks.